Well, if you look way down the road, I couldn't get my phone out fast enough, and it was turned off. There's a guy riding a donkey, pulling a cart, and the guy behind him, a younger guy, maybe his son, riding a horse. I'm in the little town of El Diamante, Veracruz State in Mexico. It's a pretty tiny town, I guess. Maybe there's 1,000 people here. I bet not that much. The carretera, one of the interstates, runs through it, down a couple blocks that way. So that guy, yesterday I walked down the same road to get away from the main drag and the truck noise. And that guy rode by me on his donkey with the cart, and the dog was riding him back. Today the dog was running alongside, and I guess his son, I'm guessing, was riding a horse and checking his emails. he was looking at his phone on the horseback. Oh, the contrast of modern Mexico, huh? Modern rural Mexico, because it's quite rural here, as you can see. Quite rural. Coca-Cola, very popular. Muy popular. Lots of small cars. And this is quite a gorgeous pickup truck. I've been places in Mexico you will not see many trucks like that. And here's really quite a nice Volkswagen. Lots of Volkswagens in Mexico, but lots of old ones and lots of old bugs. See, the reason I think you're seeing so many really nice cars and trucks here, this is a coastal area, and I think it's pretty prosperous, really. I think there is more prosperity alongside real poverty, as everywhere in Mexico and Texas and everywhere, really, around the world. But this carretera, this interstate highway, is actually quite a good road. There's actually a recently painted stripe down the middle of the road. Most of the carreteras I've been on, if there ever was a stripe, you can't see it anymore, and they can bounce you all over the place. This is a nice one. We're on the edge of the mountains, and right near the sea, just a few miles away from the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. And I think there's some prosperity out here. As every place I go, and I've been traveling for 3 years nonstop through the U.S. and now the last 3 months in Mexico, I never managed to fully understand where the hell I am or what that place is about. I'm trying to figure out the El Diamante. It feels like it's not a stoplight. There's no stoplight. There's speed bumps, which force all the trucks to slow down. There's a big speed bump here. He's actually going in the store here, I'm guessing. But I have here a bottle. I've been hanging out at a restaurant called Aureli, and it's a fabulous extended Mexican family run that. And one of the staff, when I wanted to take my lemonade to go, she put it in this bottle, which I didn't know what the hell Bozu was, and I still basically don't know what Bozu is. But when I stopped in the last store, just a block down, in the refrigerated case was Bozu. And I said, KS. He says, it's Bozu. And I said, yeah, well, what's Bozu? And he says, it's natural water, and it's from Jamaica. Cool, Jamaica. The Jamaica to El Diamante pipeline. That's cool. But I look closer at the bottle. And it's bottled in El Diamante. Here. Who thought there was a commercial concern here? I'm stuck here for a couple weeks without a vehicle, but the taxis are super cheap. I got to go visit their plant or their bottling or their facility, find out who's doing that in El Diamante. And then the other name down there is Vega de Allatorre, is the big town near here where I'm going today. And it's where you go to do shopping and various things. And it's a 50 peso taxi ride into Vega de Allatorre, which is like 13 cents, something like that, maybe less. Taxi ride. And then they charge 60 to come back out because once they get out here, there are not as many fares. If they take you into town, it's easy for them to get another fare. But you can also take the bus. Pretty extraordinary bus system in Mexico. Pretty extraordinary bus system. In the big cities, the buses tend to be old beat-up buses. In Victoria and Tampico, the city buses were old and tend to keep their front and back doors open all the time. They never close their doors. The regional buses, like the one that takes you into Vega, which I have not taken yet, that is 12 pesos. 12 pesos. So what's that? 4 cents American. Amazing. Run every half hour, 7 days a week, including Sunday. Now, I'm a Chicagoan, and Chicago buses and L's and subways are spectacular. It's one of the great public transportation systems in the world. And when I was last in Chicago, I left Chicago in 2004. Last neighborhood was Hyde Park, Kenwood. Think Barack Obama. I used to ride my bike past his house. He may still have a house in Kenwood. I think there's some kind of a center, presidential center there now these days. But I went to catch a bus from Hyde Park to go downtown. And I complained a little to the guy that I had been waiting a while. And he says, "Hey, Mac, this is a 15-minute route, okay? This is not like a 5-minute route. This is, if you miss the bus, you wait 15 minutes. And that was a very Chicagoan way of almost apologizing, but that's what it's like in Chicago. And I went from there to Asheville, North Carolina, where the major bus routes are every hour. And when I got there in 2004, almost none of them ran on Sunday. And then with the COVID, that affected public transportation a lot, and all the buses became free, and they were starting to have Sunday service for many of the routes. But still, I think every hour, yeah. And much more of a city than here. Agua, now I wonder if that's a local thing too. I've been seeing the agua purificada. Bottled water, a big deal in Texas and Mexico. You can't get good water out here. The public water is awful all through Texas. I really took to saving my gallon bottles and filling them up at the quite common stations all through Texas where you could, for cheap, fill your bottles with good water. And here in Mexico, the water's pretty terrible too. So here I am, Mexico. Some poor dog is being cooped up. He doesn't like that. Dogs tend to not be cooped up in Mexico. I love that about it. You have to go to a city to see dogs on leashes. You won't see a dog on a leash here in El Diamante, and pretty much not in Vega de Allatorre either. I like that a lot. So here I am, Madra John Madden, hanging out, drinking bozu in El Diamante, enjoying the good life in Mexico. I've been here 3 months. The first 3 months were pretty ragged. Even though I'd been trying to get in for a year, once I got in, I was like a babe in the woods. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Language problems, GPS problems, I was lost. And so getting stuck in El Diamante has been a really good thing for me. I'm coming back to myself in a way I haven't for a while. Isn't this a cute little pickup truck? No, this is a Chevy, I think. But there's a VW pickup truck, which I don't think they sell in the U.S., which is a little form like that. You couldn't sell a cute little pickup truck like that in Texas. Or in Appalachia, really. They want big, big, big. Okay. And lots of motorcycles and motor scooters. Lots. Lots. Lots, lots, lots. And lots of people walking. Lots of people don't have cars at all.